Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Sight Read. This is the second episode, and so before we get started with the episode, I wanted to say that I was kind of watching the first episode, and I was thinking of some potential changes that I can kind of do with the format of kind of the direction of this series and kind of making things a little bit more streamlined, rather than me kind of just, flubbing my way through a piece of music. I thought it would be a little bit more interesting if I were to discuss kind of my how I practice, how I, take a piece of music and start learning it for maybe non-musicians who are curious, and then, I don't know, just maybe beginner violinists, or just if you know how to play any instrument, really well. You're interesting to kind of see someone else's kind of ideas, I guess. I am still in college, so I'm still kind of learning about all these things, but this is always going to be a learning experience, no matter what happens. And I was kind of inspired by this idea because I was watching a lot of movies, watching behind the scenes for movies or video games like Zelda, or even, just regular pieces of music, orchestra channels on YouTube or whatever. A lot of those, they always pretty much always show the finished product. Maybe they show a couple seconds of rehearsal, but they never really delve into the process of a piece of music and how an orchestra puts it together. You only really get that when you play it in the orchestra. So I thought it'd be interesting to try and put together some videos on some pieces of music where I kind of explain some of my ideas that I've come up with. I don't have any markings yet for these pieces, but I just thought it'd be interesting for you to kind of see the process of how it comes together and how I kind of think of performing a piece of music like this. So hopefully that will be, this may maybe be a little bit more enjoyable than the first episode was. We'll see how it goes. So we're going to get started with Edward Elgar's Violin Sonata. This is a piece that I discovered it. I just kind of was, I think I was just looking up pieces of music on IMSLP, and then I just found this, and I was like, this is I played through it first, and then I listened to it, and I was like, this is such a cool piece. And I'm going to kind of focus on the first movement, I think. Maybe the end of the third movement if I have time. But obviously what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip through some sections that maybe don't go as well for me. I'm going to more kind of just focus on my own interpretations and ideas of this piece early on. It would be very interesting later on, maybe at the end of the summer, to do a follow-up video where I have more of my markings and maybe explain more about more ideas I can with, maybe even changes I had at the beginning of the process. So yeah, this is very early on. I've sight read this probably a few times in the past couple days, but yeah, it's a really enjoyable piece to work on, and I thought it'd be fun to get started playing with it. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So yeah, that's a pretty strong opening. I was just gonna say at the fortissimo con forza, the down bows and up the hook bows, I was gonna say was my decision, but of course Elgar put that in because he's smart like that. I didn't really put in much fingerings here. It's all pretty obvious stuff. And yeah, it kind of just starts us out in A minor of all keys. Very, very interesting choice, and then we kind of end up in E minor where the piece is. So he starts on the 4 for whatever reason he decides to. So yeah. Alright, so I'm going to continue on from 1. And sorry if you're not a musician and you don't get all the lingo, just kind of pass it on and continue enjoying the music, I guess. Alright, this... Okay. This is a tricky passage because the bowing is really weird. I don't know if doing an up bow there is the best option, or if I should save my bow and kind of have the crescendo at the tip. But I thought that would be easier because then I can get to that down bow, right away at the end at the next bar. And I see he wants the up bow there. I just missed that, sorry. A couple things. So, the fingering wise, so I start on a 1, just to make sure there's no string crossing, because if I start on a 4, that would require string crossing to the A. And then I can shift on this E, I can shift from my 4 to a 3. And then I'm right there in, that would be 5th position, because it's the same as 1st position. And then that makes it easier to kind of hitting the rest of it. And notice that he has these caret accents all on down bows. You want to make sure those are on down bows so you can really get that accent at that spot. So I'm going to actually go and skip ahead to 3, even though I kind of messed up a little bit there. So here we go. So this is, this is our second theme here. Messing up. It's interesting here, because he wants an up bow on that A, and so presumably you do a down bow at 3, and so you mix the carets. Like I said, it kind of contradicts that rule I said earlier, where the carets are now on up bows. However, I think this is a little bit of a different context. It's a more kind of dolce espressivo sound. So I don't know. Maybe I'll play around with the bowing in there, and we'll see how that goes. That diminished 7th chord that he likes to use. I definitely try to make a contrast between that forte right at 3 and the piano, kind of using more at the tip of the bow and just less pressure overall. And how now we're at 4, we're getting kind of back towards this kind of, I guess you could call it closing material maybe? Yeah, nothing. So my decision to stay on the E string at that spot, if I were to, I feel like that just loses, I like kind of that, kind of really romantic, can't reach it. I go, so to do that slide, I go up to the F sharp. And then just my 4th finger there. That's how I kind of get up to that note. But yeah, it's interesting that I think, and I heard recordings that use kind of that sliding, slide on the E string to that spot. I just think that's a little bit of a better option. I don't really know. But let's see. Before I go on, okay, sorry, I'm kind of messing up a little bit there. That's again kind of another practice session, yeah, at 9. Just a little bit, It's not really hard. It's just kind of awkward, and also it's a little bit dark, and I can't really see very well. So you know what? We'll just throw that in there as well. Okay, but and this is kind of a development section. You know, the typical kind of floating music that doesn't really. I mean, you know, these chords aren't meant to kind of go anywhere. It's kind of just, you know, transitional music, really. Let's see. I'm gonna actually kind of start at 10, where we're 4 before 10, where we're kind of building up here to a big climax, which at 11 starts at the recap. You see there, I didn't remember to save my bow. So that's what you happen. You need to make sure that you're saving your bow so you have enough to continue on. Let's try. That's, I don't know, it's kind of a risky shift there. I don't know. We'll just try right there again. Yeah, that's a tricky spot. The best thing I've come up with right now is... Yeah. I guess I should say what Elgar has said, or, you know, the publisher. So, I'm basically just copying what he does. Kind of going that 3 on that G, and then doing that harmonic there. Okay, so a lot in that section there. So right at 12, you can see he's written the 4th string there, which means it's all, this is something he did in the Elgar variation, which I played for school. Beautiful, beautiful G string sound. This is one of the things I love about this violin too, is like when I was picking it out, it was this G string sound that was just incredible, and like compared to my old, obviously my old violin was, you know, student rental violin. You may have seen a lot of kind of rubbish videos of it, but this is the G string that makes it. I'm just really excited about the sound of it, and obviously it makes a beautiful dolce sound in this section, and yeah, and the piano, obviously I kind of, you know, bring out that, you know, contrast again. Like I said, it's up higher. You have to be a lot more delicate with it, because it's higher. Yeah, right. Alright, I think rather than ending with the end of the first movement, which I know makes the most sense, I'd like to end with the end of the 3rd movement, the finale, just because I really like this ending a lot, and I thought I'd like to share it. And why aren't you going up any higher? We're going to start at 47. I think that's where the recap for this section, and we're going to start actually back at 47. So we're going to do kind of a lot more of this than I wanted to, but that's okay, because it's all pretty great stuff. So this is a different movement, a little bit of a different sound world. E major through E minor, still Elgar, E for Elgar, yay. So we're going to start at 47. My bow's a little bit all over the place, but can kind of get the idea. I'm trying to go for this kind of like, heavy kind of, triumphant sort of sound, I guess we can say. All right, right at 49. Try it again. Yeah, I was kind of, yeah. I really love these beautiful major sevenths that he uses, just like Ravel. I think he does it right, actually. I like this kind of little kind of almost fiddly chord section that he has. Very kind of tricky to tune, but and I'm still kind of working on that. And yeah, let's carry on. Before we go on, so my finger's a little bit off there. So at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before 53, I kind of use a 4/4 to kind of get me up there to second position, I guess it would be. I was supposed to go up to third position for that C sharp that ended the line. So it would be something like, yeah. So you can, get up there easily, but, and then one of the things I noticed going to 53 is that B is a lot, for me anyway, I guess, it's a lot higher than I guess I'd expect because we've been playing so many half steps leading up to this, and now we have this big giant whole step, and it's just like, okay, and we're back to E major and everything. So, well, let's go ahead and start at 53. For some reason, I think of the finale of his variations, when he goes into 3/4, the ba 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 ba, but when it's big, grand in the brass, a little bit, it's different, but again, going into kind of 3 at the end of a piece that's kind of in 2. My place. Let's just start writing. I'm going to start writing it at 54 actually. This is a little bit tricky to tune. Getting that obviously fifths and fourths. They're kind of tricky to tune, and it's kind of we have to be right up there so we can continue on to that lyrical, beautiful melody. Okay, and that's another section. So one of the things I kind of I couldn't really get away from is getting into that high E. I just kind of go on a 2 on that F sharp and kind of just hope it that's what I do with a lot of fingerings early on, and then I kind of solidify them later, so that I can, be in tune for that E. Something interesting too after 55 is that so actually it's the second measure of 55, the last beat. Going from the G to the F sharp, I actually go into a 3. I don't know how well this is turning out to be. And so that I can be away from that tritone on 2. And that was, and that just kind of makes that easier, so I don't have to like do some sort of awkward hopping, and that would be kind of weird. So I'm gonna start right at 55 now. So what am I doing here? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm shift on that E, and it makes that a little bit less awkward so you don't have to shift like twice in a row. So not my best ending, but I guess you get the kind of idea for the finesse that I want to go for. He writes kind of largamente, kind of going into that. I kind of sped up there, did the opposite. Kind of just making sure that I know when I'm going into tempo, when I'm kind of slowing down a little bit. Cello rondo kind of after 56, and then a little kind of and I missed at the end, so B. That kind of really, F double sharp kind of thing on the 16 that kind of has that's supposed to be really slow and kind of just deliberate, I think. I haven't listened to a ton of recordings for this piece, so that's something else I'm going to be doing as I prepare. So to end this episode off, I printed off just now Debussy's Sarabande, orchestrated by, well, guess who? Maurice Ravel. So this piece is just, I don't know why, I think the melody for his piece and like the violins, it just got stuck in my head yesterday, and then I was like gonna record this episode. I'm like, well, I might as well play this because why not go from British to France? Britain to France, rather. So we're gonna kind of just play. This is gonna be more typical to the first episode. I'm just gonna kind of play through it. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about some of my ideas that I've kind of come up with as I go. I haven't looked at this. I haven't done anything with it. We're just gonna kind of see how this goes. That's it. To avoid that slide, just on that same note. You cannot shift to that same fingering. Yeah. Well, let's just keep going at 5. 4 rather. So. Huh. So basically B flat. It's for B flat minor here, I guess. Okay. And now things are going to be naturalized. like that. Yep, so, and then, so, it's much harder than I thought. E flat major. Okay, but this chord, this is really beautiful. I want to try this one more time. So it'll be up. Up. I just don't believe it. And then the beautiful gloriousness of this melody here. Yeah, second pitch makes more sense there. And then the ending a little bit, I probably would rather something a little bit more where I'm not like, I mean, that would be the obvious answer. It's just something where I'm not sliding, because this is not the Elgar, this is something more impressionistic. Flowing colors and all that. So there we go. I think I played that at a million different tempos, but again, I just was playing through it. Word of advice, and probably thing I should do next time is make sure that I know all the tempo markings. It's not just about the notes on the page and the dynamics and all that. It's a lot more about making sure you know the tempo markings. I missed at the fingerboard. So sorry, Rebel, I missed that. Right at the end, and then I missed the mutes at the end as well. Yeah, goodness. Well, I'll work on that for my next episode, I guess. I just kind of wanted to record one real quick now. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a comment for what you thought of this episode, I guess, if you like the kind of format where I'm explaining a little bit more about my process. I don't know how well I did of that. I do want to kind of play more than talk. But if you kind of prefer the opposite, maybe I should just select a few passages of music that maybe are giving me trouble, and I can maybe discuss, my process for, practice techniques, I guess, a little bit. I thought that would be a really interesting use of this space for this series kind of going forward. Again, the episodes are going to be uploaded very sporadically, kind of just whenever I have time. I'm obviously going back. Sorry about that random cut, but my card memory was full, so I had to go and upload the files to my computer and all that. Anyways, I'm going to get started editing this video now, and yeah, hopefully you are going to enjoy this series as it continues forward. And yeah, bye! Bye, Rosie! My puppy! You sleepy? Huh? You sleepy? A little itchy?